article too that just popped up on my screen I want to talk about. It's about ruling coming how the Supreme Court's public homelessness ruling could impact Washington cities. This could impact everybody. A high-stakes ruling on homelessness could come down from the United States Supreme Court as soon as Thursday. The decision on Johnson versus Grant passed would decide whether to criminalize public homelessness. Cities could punish people for sleeping outside in public, even when no shelter space is available, if the decision is overturned. The consequences could result in fines or jail time. This is the most consequential decision relating to homelessness in my lifetime, professor and director of Homeless Rights Advocacy Project at Seattle's University School of Law, Sarah Rankin said. This is crazy. You know, like, you want to punish people that can't afford to live in these cities because you've jacked everything up. You want to put them in jail.
You want to basically spend another $40,000 to take care of them just because they can't take care of them.
It's bad enough that, like, you know, I saw a bench the other day where it was like they're putting it was a homeless bench and they cut out the middle so a person with a wheelchair could fit in there. And someone was like, "Yo, a person in a wheelchair ain't trying to look for a seat, homie."
And the cool part about this is that they're gonna blame it on they're gonna say, "Oh, these were democratic. These are only gonna happen in big cities." Yeah, most people live in big cities because nobody's gonna care that in the country somewhere or in rural areas that you're sleeping on the side of the road somewhere, you know, in a farmland, because no one's gonna see you. Of course, in larger cities where there's huge populations of people, this is going to be affected more. And so that's part of life. That's kind of what the world's about. And so it just seems to me that that we're not really paying attention to how these things play out. You take a person off the street, you put them in jail. That's costing us money. Would you rather put him in jail where you know that this is going to be a reoccurring thing? It's going to happen this thing called recidivism.
And this is going to cost money to do that.
Yeah.
Think about it. You could take that money and actually give homeless people housing, adequate care, places where they can get clean if they're on drugs, mental health. You can give them a job with that same amount of money. You're like, nope, we're going to lock them up. And that's what we get for having private prisons.
Imagine, okay, say 25 people. That's about $1 million right there because it's about $40,000 per person per year to lock somebody up. You got $1 million. With $1 million, you can build something. I'm not saying for everybody, but that's only 25 people. Now add up to 25 more people who you're going to be doing.
Yeah.
How many different facilities can you build to house these people? And then also you can also rehabilitation. Okay, now we're going to try to help you get some jobs, maybe help you with some mental health things. I know there was an article I had read that they said that, I forget the city it was. They gave them $1,000 a month or something for like a year.
Oh, I saw that. Denver.
Yeah, and they said like 40% of the people, 45% of the people, maybe even 55% of the people came back a year later and they had housing. You know, and
I believe it was Denver. Yeah, I read the same article. They gave $1,000 a month, I think it was something like that, and they ended up having housing. They got into places. They got their lives together.
Yeah, you know, because you give them an opportunity. People, it's not going to be a perfect science. I mean, give me 50% of these guys. Then what about the next time around? You probably can catch another 50%.
Well, the thing, it also goes back to the people that are advocating for the homeless too, because you know, if they fix homelessness, where's their job at?
I mean, but it's like, okay, then take them. If it's not about fixing the homeless. Take those same people and just move them over into this next area because you're going to create another kind of form of, I guess you want to call it welfare, whatever you want to call it, because it's either going to be criminal welfare where you want to put people in jail, and that's not the place you want people, because it's going to create, like you said, a person who's next thing you know, I forget, you said one of the funniest things on the other episode, man. It was like, it's either they're going to be taking a hit from the pipe or they're going to be hitting you over the head. Something you said, man. It was
like they're probably going to be hitting the pipe or hitting you over the head. Yeah, hitting you over the head with a pipe to get the money for the hit.
It's not funny, but it's hilarious.
It's real stuff, though.
It's just real spill. You know what I mean? Like, and so it's either you're going to put them somewhere where they're going to become more of an animal, or, you know what I'm saying, or an animal, or you're going to put them somewhere where they can actually start to kind of heal their lives and kind of become a functioning member of society, where they're not a burden on a tax burden for us.
But you know, it's crazy, man. It's like, for me, it's like, I remember I was homeless once for a small period of my life. And I'm so thankful that was back in the early 2000s that I had to experience it, because I was able to go somewhere, stay somewhere. And 2 months later, I had enough money to get my own place. You know, nowadays people can't bounce back that easily. Yeah. There's not enough. You got a job, you can get a job. You should be happy you have a car that you can sleep in, but you don't make enough money to afford to live anywhere. And nowadays you're punishing people because you won't regulate the rent. You won't regulate it so the housing market isn't all crazy. You won't regulate it so the food prices aren't crazy. You know, McDonald's is trying to compete with Wendy's right now. Oh, we're going to give you a $5 meal. Wendy said, well, bitch, we're going to give you a Frosty, because we've been giving people this $5 Biggie meal. You know what I'm saying? It's like, people, we got to stand up. I believe we need to call on general strike. Think about it. You go to Subway, it's $30 for 2 sandwiches. We used to get $5 foot longs.
$5 foot longs.
$30 for two sandwiches.
They just dropped grocery prices. I mean, not across the board, but they've been dropping. They put out an article that they're dropping grocery prices by 30%, like Amazon Fresh, Target, Walmart. 30%, man. Where'd that come from? You can't just people who own businesses and people who just have like just things that they sell. You understand that's your profit margin. If you can drop it 30% and you're still able to make a profit.
Check this out. I remember when this was 10 years ago, gas prices hit $5. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? That was just astronomical back then, 10 years ago. Mm-hmm. So what people did is they stopped driving. They got bikes. They took public transportation. They started carpooling. You know what happened? The gas companies lost money. You know what they did? They dropped the gas prices back to $2. Once people take a stand and say, we're not going to take it. Once people actually take it, like I'm saying, we took a stand as a country. We said, we're not going to do this. So we found alternate ways, and the companies bent the knee.
They had to. There's nothing they can do about it. I hear about it all the time, and I wish that people would like start to like pool together and understand that we have more power than what we give ourselves really credit for. We think that things like we allow headlines to kind of take us in one direction or the other. Or Democrat or Republican. I do that too. I won't say that my hands are clean. I do it a lot as well. But we as a people, we vote for what is actually happening. Everything that's happening is our fault. We have to take blame. Yeah. For what's going on. That's
actually not really. Look, check it out. Here in Washington State, we voted for $20 car tabs, right? The whole country, the whole state, $20 car tabs. And then the people in Washington or in Olympia were like, nah, y'all can't have that, and took it away from us.
That's factual. We did the guy Iman, whatever his name, Tim Iman.
Yeah.
When he ran and he helped get that passed. That's a fact, man. That did happen. I mean, it happens. That does happen. So there's nothing we can really say about that.
So now I'm thinking like we should have just stood up as a state and been like, nah, bruh, because we voted for it. And then they said, nah, you can't have it.
Yeah.
Because it would mess with their revenue.
Let me